This video is over topic 47, practice problems, conditional probabilities. So main thing is to learn this notation. So this is given, PB vertical line A is probability of B given A. And what does that mean calculation-wise? It means that you are narrowing down, so you're dividing by the A total, or the number in A. And then on top is going to be the ones from B that are within A, or in other words, the number in the overlap of A and B. All right, so let's take a look. So practice problem number 1, we have t-shirts and sweatshirts being bought by parents and students. Student is the event that item was purchased by a student. Sweatshirt is that it was a sweatshirt. So probability of a sweatshirt, that's going to be the sweatshirt amount, all sweatshirts, divided by all items. So the sweatshirt total, 8 plus 24, is 32. The all items, well, it says there's 80, so altogether should be 80. 32 divided by 80 is 0.4. All right, student and sweatshirt is going to be the sweatshirt, student, where those intersect, that group. So that's 24 out of the 80. That's 0.3. Then this means student given sweatshirt, or in other words, probability of choosing a student given that you have already chosen a sweatshirt. So that's going to be out of the sweatshirts, the students that bought sweatshirts. So there were 32 total sweatshirts and 24 were bought by students. So this probability is 24 out of 32, which is 0.75. All right, next, number 2, looking at this Venn diagram, there's 17 students, so we know N of S is 17. We can do some counting. There's 3 out here that are not in art club or dance club. There's 7 that are in art club only, 1 that's in both art and dance, and 6 that are in just dance club. Event A is art club, event B is dance club. So P of A, probability that a randomly chosen student is in the dance club is going to be, there are a total of 8. So N of A over N of S. N of A is 7 plus 1, which is 8 out of the 17. P of B, there are a total of 7. N of B is 7. So out of the 17. Then P of A and B, this is A and B is just Mary, just that one student out of the 17. PA given B is that we are narrowing down to just the B circle. So just the dance circle. And we have the A within B that was Mary. One person out of the whole dance circle had 7. So one of the 7 dance club members is also in art club. So probability is 1/7. So we're looking at the probability given that a student is in dance club, that that student is in art club. Then P of B, which was 7/17, times P of A given B, which was 1/7. When you multiply those, the sevens cancel, and it is 1/17. So which other probability is equal to that result? Well, the 1/17 was the P, A, and B. All right. In words, you'll usually see if something or given something, not necessarily always, but those will be your cues to look for, or generally look for is one of these assumptions being made to begin with. Then it's a given, a conditional, versus if both of these things are being assumed to be true at the same time, not in any particular, like this first to begin with, then it would be an and type probability. So same number on top either way, but the conditional will divide by the given total rather than the overall total. So number 3, we have a wheel spinner, numbers 1 through 8. Some are gray and some are white. So probability that the wheel stops on a white slice, that is 5 of the 8 slices, 5/8 probability. What's the probability the wheel stops on a white slice given that the wheel stops on a number less than 7? Now we're going to narrow down to just the numbers less than 7, and act like that's all that that's the whole wheel. We're doing, so of those, within that, there are 4 white slices within the 6. So 4 white within the 6 numbers less than 7. So that probability is 4/6 or 2/3. Okay, next example, we have at a college, 53% of the students are female. So if this is all of the students, a little over half are female. And then 19% major in civil engineering. And then 8% are both of those. So this little overlap here is 8%. So the probability that a randomly selected female student majors in civil engineering. There's no if or given here, but we are randomly selecting a female student. So we're not selecting out of everybody, we're only selecting out of the female. And within that, the civil engineering group, which was the 8. So that's 8 out of 53. 0.15. Then what's the probability that a randomly selected civil engineering major is female? So now we're looking at just out of the civil engineering. Then we have the female out of the 19 civil engineering. .42. And these types of calculations could be used to decide, figure out whether females are being underrepresented or overrepresented in the civil engineering major. The portion within the females, there's a smaller proportion taking civil engineering than out of all the students. Or another way to look at it is out of the civil engineering students, the proportion of females is smaller than the proportion of females in the entire college. So either way, it looks like females are somewhat underrepresented as civil engineering majors. Then we have this table of values here, 200 college students for the overall total. So randomly selecting a student, probability that the student sent less than 1,000 texts given that the student was a woman means we're just going to look at the woman row, not look at the men at all. So just out of the women, there are how many women total? 61 plus 18 plus 13 plus 8 is 100. So there's 100 women. Out of those 100 women, 61 women sent less than 1,000 texts. So that's 61 out of 100, or that would be 0.61 in decimal form. Okay, then the next one, the probability that the student was a woman, given that the student sent between 1,000 and 1,999 texts. So now we're just looking at the column of the 1,000 to 199 texts. And you might even be able to see without doing any calculations, like it's half and half men, half women. Or you could look at it as 18 women out of the 36, which is the 18 plus 18 that sent that number of texts. Then next one, the student was a man or sent less than 1,000 texts. So this is now not a conditional. It's going to be out of the 200 total. So was a man, that means all of these are included. If we grab that student and the student is a man, doesn't matter how many texts they sent, we want to talk to them. Or sent less than 1,000 texts, so that means these 61 women also are included in this group. So if there's 100 women total, then and 200 altogether, then 200 minus 100 means there's also 100 men total. And so I don't have to add up the 56 and the 18 and the 10 and the 16. That's 100. So I have the 100 men and then less than 1,000 texts, 61 women in that group that haven't been included in the 100 men. So 161 altogether in that group out of 200 total gives a decimal of 0.805, or rounded to the nearest hundredth, 0.81. And then probably the students sent 3,000 or more texts would be this group, 24 of them. Add them up out of the 200. (24) divided by 200 is 0.12.